Read before installing. Of course. Of course. Alright, let's get moving. Today's culprits after hours. By the way, welcome back. This could be fun. All kinds of fun and good stuff. The AC's off. We should be able to hear. This is not sponsored by Arizona, so don't even think it. We do have some culprits. Let's move. Let's move the goofy cam. Oh. Is that not a camera? What do we do? Do we reactivate it? Never mind. There it goes. Alright, let's configure the video so it doesn't do the autofocus. No autofocus. No autofocus. Alright, so we got that, and we'll go to the good guy and get him in here as well. The super Sony, I believe in you every day. Okay, so I was gonna have music. I haven't figured that out yet. What if we take the light off? Can you see this? Yes, you can see the cracks on that. Got some spider webbing. Let's turn that light back on. Alright, so we need to get this out quick and then clean the screen. We got to turn it off first and foremost. It's kind of crazy even working on one of these. This is an iPad 2 Wi-Fi. Maybe is it a 3G model? No, I don't see a spot for any SIM card. The fact somebody has one of these and has treated that nice over the years that it still works, all I can say is they're not using... I mean, do they still work? Now? As far as I know, no. They don't. I mean, they do work, but I mean, they don't work like a new one. Like we got the iPad Pro here, which is also junk, but I use it to monitor the audio levels for the streams, and I can arm and unarm sources. Doesn't really mute them. Record whatever I need to do. It's like a one-function device. But this, who knows what they use this for? We do have the replacement digitizer here. Let's go ahead and we're gonna get. Whoa, what do we need for this even? That's the other thing. We need a heat gun. Boy, which one do we use? Do we use the fun one or the not fun one? Let's go for the hot air station. It's a little more directed when it comes to it. We'll set that here. It is louder when it starts up, but a little more directed. Plus we can detach our soldering iron since we don't have to do much soldering at all. None that I know of. Soldering iron. Sayonara. Let's get our heat gun. We're going to get it turned on and warmed up. Got our fan speed and the temp. It's only loud until it warms up. and then it gets very quiet. Alright. iPad 2 Wi-Fi. It's been a while. I have one of them. It's locked. Alright, so let's get this underway. The only thing really to note of the iPad 2 when you're tearing them apart, and you can open these a couple of different ways. Number one, you don't want to microwave it, okay? The best place to go into it, and I'm sure everybody has seen this online, there's a good place to go into it where you can start working your working your way around with the adhesive. There's a couple things of note on these. You do have, what is this, iPad, let me look at the model number so I can be sure. I don't want to spread misinformation. So this is a model A1395 EMC 2560. It's an iPad 2 Wi-Fi, 100% for sure. You have your Wi-Fi antenna down. It's like roughly in this location here. Okay. That, we change frame rate. Go to 60. Auto ISO. Metering mode is all crazy. Alright, we'll see how dark it gets today, how dark it doesn't get. So you have, when you're looking at the actual iPad, you've got your Wi-Fi antenna in this location, and then there is a gap in your adhesive. It's what I think be like an inch to 3 inches down, somewhere in that area, like 2 inches maybe. I'm gonna say we'll go in between 1 to 3 inches. Somewhere in this area, there's a gap in the adhesive. That's the easiest place to get in. Now, I'm not saying you have to start there, but you do want to apply some heat. As long as we're not melting our TV, I'm good with it. You want to apply some heat. This guy put tape on because he wanted to use it until we got the actual replacement in, which is fine. We're going to run some heat around here. Wi-Fi antenna, watch out for, and this is where we're going to go in. And also, when you're going around, you don't want to pry up too much. Any of these shards could break and go in and damage the LCD. So let's apply some heat to this thing and start working our way around. That glass or that tape is undoubtedly going to melt. We're going to go ahead and run some heat along this edge and start cutting our adhesive loose. Let's see if we can do this in a reasonable amount of time. Uh-oh. Hang on. We got somebody coming in. You have a good evening. You haven't won any prizes yet, so.
Huh? I'm leaving.
Yeah, have a good evening.
Time you think you're coming in?
Oh, pretty early. I'm tired now. I'm gonna get home soon. I'm gonna call Sam here in a little bit so he can come pick up this iPad.
Okay. Alright, man.
Hopefully. Alright, see ya. Alright, hopefully that quits clipping out. My audio's clipping. Anyhow, back to it. Let's apply heat. We'll give it a little more fan. I want it throwing the air out. Another way you can open these, and the companies sell them online. I think iFixit has one. It's called an eye opener. Eye opener, I guess it is, or something like that. And other companies sell them. But basically, you know the rice bags that you can heat up in the microwave and put on your neck? It's one of those. I'm not saying it's a rice bag. I'm just saying it really reminds me of that. So you could heat one of those up and apply some steady heat to it. It's a little warm. I say we're going to go a little warmer there. Currently the temp of the heat gun, and that was pointing at the TV, temp of the heat gun is like 380, 350, 380. It's in the neighborhood. Give it credit for something. Alright, and these you have a bit of a bezel on so you can work your way around them. Oh, that's right. We got somebody that put tape on here. Let's cut. We're going to cut through the tape at least right here. And this is where we want to access everything. Now, we're going to have to reheat this thing. You can go in between the screen and the frame. Let me check the replacement. Did they send us a frame at all? No, they did not. So we want to not cut up our frame as little as possible. And this one is undoubtedly too thick to get in there. Oh my, yes, we'll never get in there with that. It's one of those plastic razor blades, so let's get a pick out. We're going to get a knife in the edge. It needs more heat. There goes the tape. Alright, we got a break along this edge. Go ahead and pry a little on that. Don't snap exactly enough. We want enough to get our pick in, and we're going to use a plastic tool as to not damage. We do not want to damage our plastic frame if we can help it. Alright, that's great. Let's put a wedge under this side to hold that, to keep it from falling. As you go, you can do that too. You can stick different things in to keep it up, to keep it from falling. you don't want to go too hot for too long in one spot. You could end up tempering the glass of the LCD. So if you can, if you have a hot air station or a hot air rework station, like, and you can keep your gun on, keep it running, that's a great thing. So that helps out. If not, you got to click your handheld hot air gun or hair dryer on and off each time you want to use it and not use it. So oops. Two. No. Right, we need. We're gonna need some metal to get in there. And there it goes. Nice splinters. If you're running into that, go ahead and keep putting hot air on. You need to warm it up some more. We may have to pick a new part. Yeah, we're kind of at an impasse with that part. Maybe we can come further down and work our way in. What are you stuck on right there? I'm going to try and go across the top. Actually, forget what is right there. I haven't seen one of these. I mean, I've seen them, but I haven't worked on one of these for, I'm going to say 3 or 4 years. It's an iPad 2 Wi-Fi. When did they come out? 2012? 2011? Somewhere in that neighborhood. We don't want to cook our camera either. Is it a 2 or is it a regular? Has to be 2. It has a back camera. Okay. The first one it didn't have a back camera, just the front-facing one, I believe. I could be wrong. Alright, adhesive, are you unstuck? Can we get you out of our way? Or are we going to slice our fingers? Going to slice our fingers open, undoubtedly. It almost always happens. Some of these you have no choice but to pick loose the little pieces around the edge when you're going. Alright, we did gain access to it. Let's try and get a plastic pick in there and at least continue with this part. And see what we can manage to cut loose while we go around this side. When you heat them up enough, but you don't want to go so hot, like I said, that you're tempering the glass and turning your inner LCD yellow, or that you're starting to melt plastic and stuff. They cut loose fairly easy from the adhesive. So I guess that's something to kind of note, keep in mind. They will come loose fairly easy. If you don't have a heat gun or some way to take the temperature of what you're heating up, a safe bet is when it's like too hot to touch. And you can't be like a weakling about it. It's like literally if it's just uncomfortable to keep your hand on it, it's getting pretty warm. You need to go a little hotter than that. But don't let that's not like gospel. You gotta focus, Sony. Okay, dummy, I was cutting right through the tape with the tool. Get out of the way, tape. All right. I would definitely say gloves recommended when working on these. And the more breaks there are in the glass, the tougher it is. Go ahead and set that there, and we'll start melting some more of this adhesive. If you've never done one of these, like any screen replacement, any repair, it's a good time to start smoking or drinking. No, just kidding. Yeah, it's don't rush it. Just don't rush. Take your time on it. The more you rush trying to get it done, or if you told somebody, you know, whatever, an hour, or you could do it in a half hour, or 15 minutes, or whatever, 20 minutes, and you're gonna run over the time that you stated. Honestly, don't worry about it. Take your time. It's better to get it done and hand it back, even if it takes a little longer, than to not give their device back, or give it back in a not working condition because you were in a super big hurry. I'm guessing they would much appreciate having the repair done and the working device back versus the non-working device back or having to wait for another part. Are you loose? Can we get you out of there? No, didn't think so. Nope. Gotta get under that part there. You know, and there's probably, I know there's some guy that can do this in like 5 minutes or whatever, right? Broken screen, it's just spider web, literally. He heats it up on a hot plate to the right temp and probably just grabs a corner and peels the screen off, like peeling the protective film off when he gets a new device. Right? Gotta be some guy out there that can do it that quick. I'm gonna have to take a look at some point to see where's the ribbon cable on the bottom of these? Bottom or along the ribbon cable that attaches the digitizer, I think. Let me look at this thing. I think it's over here in this area. I think we're actually getting to it right now. But we don't have to worry because we can cut the one for the broken digitizer. When we install the new one, that's one we don't want to mess up. Can we get under it without breaking it? That would be awesome. And it just breaks again. Of course it does. Apple, I knew you loved me. Why would you give me anything but all the problems? Let's take this down here. I'm going to park it there and start working our way across the bottom. I'm going to grab a couple other picks to set in there right now. That way we can keep it up in the air a little. We don't want to stick it back down after all. I think we did kind of get it back down a little bit right here. We're never actually peeled it all the way off. Let's go ahead and go across there with our bigger tool. Alright, okay, so it is loose there. I lied. What do you want? Alright, that's kind of warm, but let's go a little bit more. We want that adhesive to just crack loose from there. Right, we don't want any pieces of glass falling under the digitizer to where it's going to affect the LCD screen, so hopefully we don't do any damage to that. It's always a risk. Okay, I'm not going to say always. There's people out there that know that they're not going to damage it. I always keep the option open for everything though. I have horrible luck when it comes to this stuff, but I love doing it. Yeah, that is the ribbon cable right there for the actual digitizer, so we'll keep that propped up. Start working our way under this adhesive and hopefully not throw a bunch of glass under there. Yep. I knew it was going to break. We're getting to that Wi-Fi antenna. As soon as we get the rest of this here, we're going to pop it off of there and then clean up where our glass is. I know a lot of people were around, but I remember when these things first started coming out, iPads and other bigger tablet devices and that, and just thinking like, with how thin they are, like how the hell is anybody gonna work on that? What if something goes wrong? You gotta buy a whole new one. I mean, that's a good business plan for manufacturers and whatnot. Not great for the consumer, but God, they just seem like they would be so impossible to work on these things. And some of them turned out being fairly easy, while others are impossible. So there's that. Love it. Love it when it breaks instead of lifting up. Yeah, now don't cut toward yourself with a blade. But we're breaking rules here. Left and right, we got something hot just over here sitting, chilling, on. Alright, I think we're getting to a part where we're gonna at least attempt to rip this out. Maybe? Kinda, sorta, shoulda, woulda. At this point we're gonna flip it up and attempt, yeah, metal kind of glass fall, but that's fine. We will get to that when we get to it. Right now we're going to work on cutting adhesive loose. We'll use something to kind of pry. We need more heat in this area, so we're going to go ahead and do that right now. And we have our ribbon cable attached on that side. And we only have a few slight chips of glass that actually made it in. So, now that that's done, we are going to turn the temp down, fan all the way up on our heat gun. It survived. I'm amazed. So amazed that survived right there. And this ripped off. However, we'll take and work on getting it off of there now. We can get all the glass we want on the screen because we can just dump it off and clean it. And what we didn't want was chunks of glass getting under there. Oh, of course. Of course you would turn on. We only need the digitizer, which probably is non-existent right now, to turn you back off. Apple, what are you doing? Putting that power button in the upper right corner. You should have seen me coming in 2019. Why don't you watch what I'm doing, Apple? There's no way this digitizer is still going to function, but we'll make it look good. Oh. Alright, with our heat gun temp all the way down, fan all the way up, we can now turn the fan down. And we're going to let that or the heat gun cool down a little. Let's hold our power button in and see if we can get any swipe functionality. Does it work toward the top still? That would be a blessing in disguise if it did. Yeah, you can't even cancel. Oh, we got the cancel part to work, but the rotation's not working. How about if we just hold the power button and the home button? Is that a thing? So at least some of it works. That cancel button definitely works. Does it have to be near the screen? I don't think it now. It's literally just touch and go. Because we should be able to, yeah, if we can get a solid swipe on. Too many cracks, too many breaks. I'm in the neighborhood. We are going to see, how do we do this? We hit power and home. Hold it for what, a minute? Did that exist back then? Okay, I think we got it. We're not even going to test turning it on. Right, heat gun, go away. At this point, yeah, we've got some glass sticking to us. We're going to be careful. I might even actually switch gloves. Now we need to start with the, what do you want to call it? Disassembly? Yeah, that's the right word. With the disassembly there. Okay. And what do we need? Our Magic Phone 4 screwdriver set. Wonderful, magical. iPhone 4. The AC's not on. I wish I could turn it on, but I don't have any settings set for, you know what, let's try it. Let's see what it sounds like. If it sounds awful, somebody just send something through the chat. Tell me, turn it off. Turn it off. We should have four LCDs holding this screw to the case. Do you get it? Do you dig? 4 LCDs securing that screw to the case. How about 4 screws securing the LCD to the case? Does that make more sense? Give me some airflow. You know, it seems like it's gonna work. If it sounds horrible, just say something. We gotta flip that LCD up, then we can start unplugging stuff. By all rights, we could have just shredded the digitizer cable. We could have just mashed that thing, cut right through it, but why? Why destroy if you don't have to? And then our, hey, little fly, who are you? What do you want? What are you doing in here? Was that murder on YouTube? Could be. Have his lawyer call me. We'll work out a deal without going to court. Alright, so where does this thing connect? In the same spot? Do we flip it open like a book as well? It has been so long since I've touched one of these, honestly. I don't remember. I guess I could look a guide up. That would be the thing to do, right? Like, actually, don't break what it is you're working on. Look up a guide for it. Just like a book. Okay. Let's get that LCD connector out of there. We're going to use our tweezers, even though I don't like using metal tools anywhere near the connector. I'm going to just lightly pop this little connector up, not in view of any caps. It's up, and now that it's up, we can take the screen out of harm's way. Now we need to remove this. Also fun. Yep, not enough. We can't fingernail it. We can tweezer it though. Wait, I'm a dummy. Are they on the back side? They are. Don't pay attention to me. Alright. iPad 2 digitizer. Sinora. We're going to keep it for now. Home button may be of some type of use. Let's give that a little tap. We're going to do that. And then me little black mat. Me trusty black mat. You've got glass all through you. Let's knock the glass off of it as best we can. We'll sweep it off, clean up our busted pieces of glass, clean up the iPad, and put this thing together. Alright, looks good. Let's go for the work area. And then after we sweep up, we're going to actually swap out gloves. These are phenomenal. You can buy better quality ones that ain't so thick. I mean, they're thick, but they taper to a fine point. But they're plastic razor blades. And it's good for removing Oka and Mocha glue, basically optically clear adhesive or liquid optically clear adhesive. Once it dries in the film. You can scrape that off of screens, excuse me, without doing a whole ton of damage at all. They actually work great. I got massive hiccups now. Who's seen those coming? Alright, gloves off, swap them out for new ones. Check our arms for glass. Looks okay so far. So far so good. Alright, this is dumb. I'm not fighting it. We're gonna wait a minute and put our gloves back on. Got slightly dried, but also slightly sweaty hands. Gloves are impossible to get on. Let's take a coffee break. Alright, not even a full minute and they go on without a fight. We're going to check the edges. We have our little frame in there as well. We need to get up all the rest of this glass. And any adhesive, any dirt, we're going to go around and clean it. And of course it's going to break. We need our heat gun. We're going to use heat. Going to use a little bit of heat. 250, 300 degrees. I would say. Just hit this spot real quick and be able to pick the glass off fairly easy. Without it busting into lots and lots of pieces. We didn't want as little glass as possible going in to our case. Where else is there some? Let's work our way all completely around the edge. Got that chunk there. That should come off without issue. then this one remaining piece down here, we'll go around the edges, clean it up. Use Goo Gone, temp down, let the fan run quietly when it's nothing compared to the AC. I know you can use alcohol, but keep in mind I'm not going to soak this thing entirely with Goo Gone. We're going to get a little on here, run around the edge, and then we will come back and clean it with alcohol. Yee, that edge still has some glass on it. I'll go ahead and wipe that again. Getting this edge cleaned up and the little frame cleaned out is key to your new screen adhering properly is another thing. Let's get one more tool that could be useful, or two. We'll see how many of them we can find that aren't damaged. And sadly there's not going to be many, but we can use these to go around and help scrape up adhesive. Wiping on that Goo Gone did soften it up quite a bit, so it's either that or heat. I don't want to melt anything inside this. And I suppose they do make glue remover, other adhesive remover stuff, but Goo Gone is safe enough that unless I pour lots of it internally, it's not going to hurt the device. If I'm just putting it on a Q-tip or a paper towel, so that's generally what I use. And it smells alright if you have the smelly kind. Go back, little wire, get away. Can we do it that way? Maybe. run around that again, see what we can clean up. Much smell, much goo. We're looking for much gone. That will come later. At one time, working on one of these, I was sliding, cleaning up, and cut right through the little ribbon cable for the buttons there. So yeah, that happened before. Let's not repeat that awesome mistake. We have this one spot to go over and we should be about good. Necessary? I don't know. I've never like rushed through one and not cleaned this crap up. So I can't speak to that. What I can speak to is even if time consuming, I like doing every job like I'm working on one of my own devices. So I don't want to half-ass it or skip it. But then again, you can't like charge 4 hours for labor, you know what I mean, unless it's actually 4 hours for labor. These are so easy to get repaired, even at little kiosks in a mall. I don't know if they're doing iPad 2s, honestly, in 2019, but they are fairly easy to get repaired. That's the adhesive for. What is that for? It's, oh, the digitizer connector folds up over there. One other thing we're going to go ahead and do with this blade, we'll clean all the goop off of it. Heat gun is down, let's turn it off. Turn it off. We're going to run around the edge of this plastic frame because we were just wiping it right there and make sure that any goop is out. Or not goop, how do I want to call it, what do I want to say, like any dirt buildup, anything. We got spots here where it got a little scratched. It's not bad. It's going to be under the glass. But anywhere that there could possibly be buildup, we want to run around the edge and get that dirt out of there. We've got a bunch on this side, right where you would expect, where you hold the dang thing. Alright, now time for something that evaporates. We'll hit it with alcohol to clean that, any residue of that up, and we should be good to go to start reassembling. That's alcohol. Let's run the paper towel on it to dry it. Actually, we don't need to. That crap evaporates. Get out of here. Alright, now we gotta clean our screen, which is never fun. I'm sorry, it's just not. Whenever you get glass everywhere, it's never fun. What do we have that's light? The old... Is that it? Is that it? It's got a little dirt on it, but it is very light for brushing. It will brush the glass off. It's the old lens cleaner. And it shouldn't rip up our little foam edge that's around it. And as much as we tried, we did get one little weird spot on the glass. Another important thing is to make sure that on the back of these, you don't have anything. There's not much clearance between it and the battery. There probably is some, not near the amount of new iPhones and iPads, but you don't have a whole lot of room in there. You don't want white splotches or anything behind the screen getting pushed into the battery. Let's get that crap out. That is paper towel related junk. Okay. What now? Oh, dummy, we gotta do the digitizer. Let's get another trusty black mat. Right, this we're gonna basically have it unfolded like a book, and then we're gonna get in here and plug this in, connect it, and then we'll connect our LCD, throw the LCD down, re-clean the LCD, work on peeling the adhesive, protective layer off for the adhesive, flip it up, peel, what do I even want to call it? The inside protective film for the screen, or digitizer, flip it down if there's no dust, and hopefully we're done. Hopefully we're done. Okay. never a fun thing putting these things in there. Done. Looks great. Who wants to buy it? Just kidding. Alright, let's put our LCD in as best we can. We need do use care when trying to fold these cables into place. That's the reason for the one with the adhesive. This one, when it had adhesive, it helps that stick and kind of keeps that down where it needs to be. We're going to need a prop in this case. I'm going to apply the use of my hot air station. It's over there. Use that. And then you, the fun part. Alright, that part is back where it needs to be to go in the connector. One little part was bent upward just a hair and would have caused many headaches and problems trying to get it back in. We're going to see it keeps wanting to go up over. We need to flatten it back out. I never did like these LCD connectors. That is back down. We should be able to connect it without a whole lot of trouble. We'll put that side in first and go for the other side. Alright, everything is plugged in. Sterling, can we take a closer look at that? Of course we can. There we go. Okay, so that's what it looks like when it's locked in. I'm going to get a little closer. I just don't know if the camera's going to focus. It'll really try. So that's what it's going to look like before you flip the latch, when it's all plugged in. And then this is that little latch that comes over everything after it's plugged in. And you clip that down. That keeps your screen connected. Now let's put our ribbon cable back here and set this in here. Get our camera back where it belongs. Four screws to return to their little locations, and then we'll do the cleaning and gluing. Cleaning and gluing. Cleaning and adhesion, I guess, is the what we're looking for. Is this like the world's longest record at attempting this? What is... It's in, that's in, that's in. When we go to put this back together, we have to make sure to get all that folded down in there and not stuck really where adhesive's going to be. Some of it can be there, but for the most part we want it down in, and that will go there. Okay, let's clean our screen. Soft cloth, where are you? Even microfiber can have a tendency to leave a residue on the screen. We're gonna go with a little Windex, and then we will flip it or switch and go with some alcohol. Should have waited. Should have waited on that one. You dummy. I wanted the adhesive broke loose. Remember? Okay, we got that piece. Let's work on this one. Hey, you're not supposed to lift up. You stay there. You are supposed to stay stuck down, not up here with the rest of us. When you go to peel the protective layers off the adhesive, a lot of times you will run into when you start peeling it up and it wants to lift off of the screen. And that's happened, what, 2 or 3 times already. So you just kind of peel it back, find where it goes, stick it down, and start peeling. Now is going to be the troublesome part. This is where it goes under the ribbon cable. Now we'll clean the screen again. The more you rub, the more you're going to break apart that foam that is there. You want to get any loose stuff off. Try not to have run-ins with the foam. If you wear it down or you're not installing a completely new one, you can end up with dirt in your screen, which doesn't look great. All right, we've got most of the smudging off of this just left over where I'm, ow, stab yourself in the elbow with alcohol, not fun. All right, there's that one. What do we have that isn't that? That was definitely a microfiber-ish, but not really what I was looking for. That's more along the lines. That's micro fiber, I guess is what I would say. And of course I spit on it like a dumbass. And as we make a good attempt to not knock all this lint off of here, unstick from the iPad. And our cable's fighting us and not wanting to go down in. We'll break. We have a few. Uh-oh. What happened to you? Really now? What did I miss? Why are you not lining up? The holes are there. Go. This iPad's had its fair share of abuse to where let's see if we can still get it up. I doubt it. There's just a slight millimeter that I'm not happy with. And too bad we have to lift it. Absolutely 100% have to. We're going to have to blast it with an air compressor to clean off the inside. There's no choice in the matter. So before this adhesive completely sticks, we're going to go around the edge and work to get it back up, hopefully without breaking anything. We got a big dust ball in there when I had lifted up to get the camera alignment thing back in place. Generally, before this adhesive has time to cure, you can go around and work your way around ever so slightly and get it back out. Alright, I'm gonna go mute this while I get the air compressor fired up. We're gonna open this up just like so, like a book. The cable did actually go in. I'm surprised that almost 100% never ever happens for me. The corners on this thing are dinged up horribly compared to other iPads that I've put together. But let's go ahead, we're gonna re-lift it, get the air compressor going, and get this ready to go. Alright, it should be fairly dust free. Let's get our pick out and see if our camera lines up. Of course it doesn't. Why would that camera ever line up without getting more dust in there? Camera lined up, keeping it up as far as possible. It's in both sides, it's in the bottom, in the top. Finally, the world's slowest iPad 2 digitizer replacement. Mistakes were made along the way. Look at the corners on this thing. That's what I want to take note of. Can you get it? How close can you get it though? They're pretty dinged up. They shouldn't even let this screen go in, but they do. Which is kind of a miracle. Like, that corner's not as bad. That one's took some dingage. You can see that as I move it a little closer. And then this one also has taken some shots. Let's go ahead and peel this tape off of the back of here. Get this in the case and give this guy a call he's waiting on. I may have to drop it off. It did get late. But I know he wanted it back today, so I'm going to send out the text signal and see if he answers. We'll let him peel that screen protector off. Generally, people don't like to, but they never do a punch out for the home button, so you can use it. But you can still click. Oh, so we did that with it on. I thought I'd shut it off. Now, let's see. Can we hold these buttons and turn it off? Not good, but so far so good. It's an iPad 2. It doesn't have the issues that later models did of where when you did stuff. Yeah, okay, so it did shut off. Did I turn it back on and not notice it? I don't know. I thought it might shut off that way, but I wasn't sure. It don't have the issues like newer iPads do, where if you start unplugging stuff when it's powered on, you're blowing out your backlight, or an iPhone. They weren't as technical back then. Apple, glad to see you're in the current age selling last year's technology in a device you're releasing next year. It's kind of current times. So far so good. The glass has went down all the way around. What is this? Is this a rotation lock or a silencer? Okay, it's a rotation lock. I'm a dummy. I thought it was a silencer, like an iPhone. And that's locked. That's unlocked. Oh, so wonderful, so magical. iPad 2 Wi-Fi. We love it. We love it. You want one? I want a raccoon. Alright, let's put this thing back in its home. Do I even bother? Do I do the iPhone 7 Plus? I put it in the description. I feel like I should at least be honorable and do what I said I was going to do. Alright, first let's figure out the case, and then we'll figure out the orientation for the iPad. It would seem that it sets up like that. You would want access to your buttons. Like so. The Rocky Raccoon is right there, just chilling, hanging out. I would think that's like the thing to do, right? That's the way you do it. Set it up. Is this great content? Knew you loved it from the beginning. Alright. So, one down. While he's on his way down here, I'm going to call him if he's coming down, or if I have to go deliver this because I got it done a little later than I thought. We're going to weight this thing real quick to get that adhesive to stick. Can we fit the whole iPad in there? Kinda, sorta, maybe. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. That will press evenly on our adhesive. We're going to stack it under a couple laptops. Alright. Weight applied. Let me call this guy. Alright, this guy's on his way. I gotta do a write-up on the slip quick. That's that one. I don't think I actually have a slip because he never actually dropped it off, so I gotta print one up. You know what? We're out of new ones. We use an old one. I know. Horrible person. It's 2019 and we're writing on papers instead of typing in keyboards and computers. Us old timers. Us old folks. Us old folks with our, I don't know what you want to call it, old-fashioned ways. It's okay. I believe in you. Let's make it simple. iPad 2, Wi-Fi, digitizer, replacement. I feel bad even doing stuff like this when people want to do it, but I tell them, like, look, there's newer, better stuff out there. And they're firm. They're firm on their answer. They want to throw bones over trying to suggest a new device. Who does that? Who does it? Can you tell me that? And we'll put broken glass here. Period. What is it? 9/9/19. We'll put the number later. And we will write the name. I gotta look up the number now, dang. I'm kind of stuck in a position. Okay. Of course, I can't let anybody harass people. Can we do it like that? Sure can, as long as that don't move. Alright, and we'll put $20 million is the price. Anyhow, that's that. We'll wait on him to get here. We'll pull it from the weight, and in the meantime, we'll check out our calculator. That works. My brain still works, at least for the sake of that. Let's make a copy of this paperwork. Just a slight break. Up next on the agenda list. We can do this a little quicker. This is something I've done in my recent memory of things that I haven't forgotten. Let's throw this up here. We've got our paper here, and we'll wait on him to get here. Case it up and ship it out. In the meantime, let's get cracking on this. Glass looks good. Ooh, that felt weird coming off of there. We've got, look at that damage on that guy. Oh my goodness. What did they do to you, little iPhone? What did they do? Who did it? Tell me about it. How do you turn these things off? You just hold the button, right? We hold the button. And swipe. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Is it broken up there? Is it really broken up there? Or is it just the gloves? The gloves wouldn't let me touch it. Can we flip it upside down? Can we cancel? Oh, so half the screen works. What happens? There's no rotation lock on these. Oh my goodness, there's no rotation lock. No rotation, only half of the screen works. Alright, I understand low battery, but we can't swipe up here, but we can down here. Look at that. Look at that. We can swipe down here, but not up here. So it's like when it gets down to here, we got some glass to work with. Alright, is there a way to unlock the rotation on these things? Okay. We need that OK bubble to get to somewhere where we can touch. Okay, so we can swipe up. Not like that. Alright, we're finding ourselves in a situation. I don't want to call nobody. How do you bring up the menu for Apple? This isn't working. I brought it up once. Okay. What's the secret? Can somebody tell me? I'm not an iPhone user. I'm like... So it don't work. Well, it does work down there. Okay. Can we get the right corner? Alright, let's try these two. Is this power button just being finicky or what? It's not locked. Alright, that's no ringer. That's a ring. Oh! It do rotate. Okay, maybe we got luck. Let's try this now. We're holding the power button. Can we swipe it? No. Okay, let's cancel it. Alright, so if auto rotate is working, look at that. We cracked this riddle. We're going to power it off. We're going to slide to turn off. Nice. There. Let me get this packaged up for you. We do. Do 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 do. Are we back? Yes we are. Yes we are. We're back. It's great. Alright, let's do this iPhone. I've already started. Give me one more moment. Losing stuff. Alright, we be back. iPhone 7. iPhone 7 Plus. iPhone 7 Plus. Alright, not ready, but ready. Let's do it. Alright, we already got 2 screws out. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Never did one of these. Now, is there a goofy cable inside? We don't know. We don't know. don't even believe it, man. I'm suffering fools like dead batteries over here. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Oh my wonderful, magical iPhone 7 Plus. You love it. You knew that from the beginning. So wonderful, so magical. Isn't it what you've always wanted? Look at it. Look at the cracked screen from last year. And the year before. The home button you never knew you wanted or needed. Does this new screen have a... Does it have a dinger around it? We gotta check in on our part here to see. Does it have a... Did they tape it shut on me? Am I here? Am I wrestling with plastic for no reason? It could be. No, but they actually sealed it shut. Kudos to them. That was sealed. Alright, so we do have a new frame. We didn't go ultra cheap on the screeny. I'm impressed. And that screen fits together right. Oh my goodness. I never knew I needed something so wonderful and magical. Alright, so we're going to get under the screen and start lifting it. This one should have what, that little stupid coating that helps make it water resistant. So you got to work your way around the edge to cut it. Alright, we got a ding on that corner. Could prove to be an issue. I don't know yet. Never did an iPhone 7 Plus. Not extremely excited about it. Apple products do not make me happy. They do not make my day. Alright, is there a ribbon cable in here that's going to jump out and surprise me and say, haha, sucker. You're dumb and you fell for it. You lifted it up. What are you doing, you moron? Looks good. Damn, this thing has suffered some stuff. Pour some out. Alright. We have our super awesome SIM tool. And I think at this point, we're ready. Ready. You can feel it. We gotta cut the top, or can we just literally lift it and pull it? I think we gotta pull it away from the top. So we might do better to cut this adhesive. Oh wow, no, that's pulled away completely, so we're actually fighting a little adhesive now. And is this the one, you don't pull it down, you open it like a book? We got our little look. Look at it. Look at it, love it. Do you like that water seal? Does that look like great water seal to you? Much water seal? Much water seal. Just kidding. Alright. So, this should have a flipper, I think. Do we make... Would this be the back cover of the book? Or does it go the other way? Okay, so there's our book. We gotta flip it open like a book. So, your side, we'll cover this again. Just cause. Look here, right here. Okay. Side of the SIM card and the power button is gonna be it's gonna be the spine of your magazine, okay? The spine of your book. we're going to make a comparison. So we got the side with the SIM card and the side that's the spine on our magazine. So if we lay them down, the front of your iPhone is the back cover. It's going to open up just like a book that's laying face down. That's how this iPhone 7, 7 Plus that I know of open, and I don't know about nothing else. There may not be anything to that. Alright, anyhow, that's opened. We got to disconnect our battery first. We need our wonderful magical Phillips screwdriver. And let's keep in mind, we don't want to mix any parts up on this. So we're going to lay them out as they come out. Is that Phillips or, yeah. Hold on, are they trolling me? I gotta look at this. This might be the one with the Y screws. Why, certainly it is. So I take that back. We don't need Phillips, we need Ys. Why? Don't ask, that's why. I gotta get the whole screwdriver kit over here to actually look for the Y. I think that's this row, maybe? No. It's not that row. It's not that row. So 1, 2, 3, we'll try the small one. Let's get our iFixit driver. Get out of the way. I'm pretty sure we're going to need a Phillips at some point. Too many tools here. We're moving them out of the way a little. Okay. So let's take out our little goofball Y screws. Always fun, always amazing. Just keep in mind, don't mix any screws up. There's actually ones that are different sizes on these, and I'm not going to go over that again. I don't know. I don't think it transfers from iPhone 7 to 7 Plus. Maybe it does. Maybe they're the same sizes, like the same oddball one. I know there's 3 or 4 here in the upper right or upper left. My upper left is one of the ones that is a nuisance, and you don't want to mix up because it's a different size. Already right there. What a nuisance. Get out of there. Did I not take? Tweezers, we're going to move the one. That, I call that not much. I call that not much screw, not much there. Alright, so our battery is here, battery connector, we need to get it out of the way, and then we can disconnect our one cable and then start working on the other one. I know this isn't like microscope view like people do this, so we'll do the best we can here. battery connector is this one. I don't have it here. We use an Apple Pencil. The point is the one the point is touching. That is your battery connector. At least in the iPhone 7 Plus, it may move to another location. If you can, use either your fingernail or a plastic tool to pry this stuff up. You never want to get into using metal. I mean, you can, but you have a good chance at shorting something out if you contact with anything else. Plus, let's not forget you're messing with a live battery. So there, our battery is connected, or disconnected, I mean. Let's go ahead and pull those screws off that top plate to remove our display, and then we'll start swapping the parts over. I was going to say watch, they went back to Phillips for this one. How great would that be? Apple, you use such tiny screws, it's unreal amazing how tiny some of these screws are. Let's go ahead and do that one. And our plate for here, is there a number 4? There is a number 4. Much hiccup. Alright, is there plate free yet, or is there one I'm just not seeing? Actually, that one didn't even need to come out. I'm a dummy. Let me put that one back. And it's not magnetic for some reason. What part does this non-magnetic screw play in an iPhone 7 Plus? I don't know. Can anybody tell me? As far as I know, it's not magnetic. Or is it? Yeah, it is. Okay, I lied. It's just highly unstable. And we're going to need a different driver to put it back. We're going to need a flat. Or I guess it's what is that, a plus, but it's like a flathead, but also like a Phillips, but it comes out, it's like a X or a plus that gets cut off straight. I don't know, I might have one of those in there. I've never looked. Let's put it back where it goes though, if at all possible. Don't you hate when you mess up and take out the wrong screw? Boy, this thing is super weak. It's like it isn't magnetic, but it is. Do I need a bigger bit with more magnet? I'm going to say it's not magnetic. Let's put it in there with tweezers and see what happens. Back in, we're cranking it down. Remember, when working on this stuff, get out your torque wrench. You want to torque these to about 300 pounds evenly, all screws. Torque down to 300 pounds. Right. Screen is free. We should be able to disconnect those at the top. and the one in the middle, and there should be one cable under it. Indeed there is. And we're free. Move our phone over here. And now we are going to work exclusively really. That's a weak connection, Apple Pencil. Very weak. How dare you? Now we'll work with our phone out of the way. I'm going to move the soldering station slightly. Careful not to jump them screws all over the place. We don't want to bump it and jostle them and mix them up. I'm not getting a micrometer out to measure them under a magnifying glass or microscope. I suppose you could just measure them if you can get them in there, clamp them in there, right? Something like that. Alright, we have our new screen. We need to start swapping parts too. Let's get this opened. Go back to our trusty little black mat, and we're going to work right to left and lay them down. First, let's tear this one apart and we'll lay the parts out before we even get to the new one. Let's see if these parts, did they go back to Philips or are we still on the... Oh yeah, I made this comment before about the, what was it? Was it an iPhone 7? And this is just the 7 Plus, or maybe it was an 8, I don't know. But all those Y screws pull in them brackets, and then they just go right back to Philips for the screen. Okay, so there's 4 screws across the bottom where your home button is. Let's get a pointer. I'm going to get my favorite pointer though for this one. Alright, favorite pointer here. You have 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4. The one in the center is a different length than the other 3 here. Well, there's actually 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the one that's in the center on the home button is a different length. And I can't remember what's a different length up here. I think the upper right may be a different length. We could look it up, but why? We'll just, you know, start taking them apart. I think this one is the different length, and I'm certain that one is a different length. So we got that to tear out. We have this unit here on the top, which is a speaker, ambient light sensor, proximity sensor, a microphone, I'm sure, and our camera unit, and then our home button to tear out. Oh, we got people invading the base. They're invading the studio. What are they thinking? I mean, Dave's not here, man. Nah, it's not time for the podcast. Alright, back again. So that was my wonderful, talented, magnificent co-host Tim from the Antisocial Experience podcast. He was just stopping in for monkey support for a brief moment, you know, wishing me well on my day. It's not easy working on these Apple devices, I tell you. Not easy at all. Like, really, I think it hurts your feelings. Or, I mean, it could. You can't just be weak like that, but yeah, it could hurt your feelings. So we keep the picture, we maintain the picture. What? If we cut the glare, it brightens up. Much better. Okay, we'll work on it like this. We're going to take out the screws for our speaker, which is Phillips. And we can't mix those up either. How many are there? I gotta take a closer look. Oh, 3 more, okay. So yeah, just a note. I'm not like bent over like looking directly at this thing either. Like it's 100% about 3 feet away from my face, and we're dealing with these tiny screws. I'm making excuses because I'm such a failure with it. Oh my goodness. Don't look. Look away. Look away. Alright, there's those parts. Much screws. Much screw. Much screw. Alright, we can take away all the color from my life. Dim the screen out with our stupid glare. Sony, can you really autofocus? Is that a thing? I didn't think it was a thing. Yeah, maybe you do. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Alright, so we gotta get those parts out. We have our camera, speaker, and then all the sensors. We need a little bit of heat to get them out. We do have to tear this back plate off as well, but let's get our home button assembly out. Get in there a little closer for that anyways. I was gonna say, don't tell me you can't foot away and you can't focus on that. I'd give up if that's the case. We're moving to another brand camera if you can't focus on that, Sony. I won't take it. That is not an acceptable answer. Look at that dark screen. I hate how that goes so dark. Oh, excuse me. Was that a Phillips? That was a Phillips. Okay. 1 Phillips, and now we're back to the Y screws. Why? As in, why did you switch part way across one part? Just for these couple screws. Why, Apple? Why, Apple? It makes no sense. It's illogical. And then finally one more. Alright, with all those out, our little plate comes off for the home button. And then that will come out through the front of the actual screen. We can do that now. We're going to work on unclipping this here. It folds up. If this will focus, let's try it again. There's guides for this online, I'm sure, but this, your home button will come out of the front of the screen. This ribbon cable runs over, and it actually flips up around. The cable comes down from the screen, and the home button, when it wraps, kind of comes over and does like that, flips up on and clips down on the one. Kind of in that fashion. It's bad explanation, I know, but it's what I got. Accept it. Alright, so let's unsnap that. There's a little plastic tool. There's no power in this, so I don't expect we'd short it out, but metal tools are super easy to pry stuff and break it when you don't mean to. So there's our home button. I should probably look at the screen when I do this. I can see it so much better. And then what you want to do is bend this one up out of the way to get your home button ribbon cable. Now we need some heat on there to loosen up the adhesive, and that's where our hot air station here comes in. We're going to hit it with some heat and then remove the home button assembly from it. We don't need much heat. We need less than much heat. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit the front of the glass right there. Right about in there, we're going to hit the front of the glass, and what we can do to block some of it is we can hold something there so we don't hit the actual home button. We got heat, let's apply it to the glass. I want to start melting that adhesive, but not burn our paper either, so. Should be enough, let's see. Alright, there is our home button assembly free. Let's pull it out the front. Watch it make a liar out of me, and it doesn't actually pop out the front of the phone. It does right out that way. So right through. There's the home button. That part is done. We still have all the screws on the edge to take out. We're going to take the, I think, 3 and 2, 3 and 3, 3 and 2, and then we'll take this back plate off. They are, are we really missing one? We are. Why are we always missing one screw on these phones? Does that mean they've had replacement screens and the person just did that poor of a job? What's going on? This is like a phone conspiracy or something. Somebody is on purpose stealing these screws. I know. I mean, why else would they be missing? Think about it. Somebody has to, on purpose, be getting in all these iPhones and stealing screws out of the bottom corner. Regardless, let's continue with the repair. Why, Apple? Why do you have such goofy screws? They're not security. People have had bits for these for years, ever since, like, I think the Nintendo, possibly like the Nintendo DS days, Nintendo Wii. They had a Y bit in them that kind of stumped people at first when they first, not all people, some people, when they first came out. Had never seen them or dealt with them, so. And we're missing one up there, so we're missing most, 1, 2, 3. We're literally missing almost half of the screws that hold this in, and I don't have any to put in. It's not like we don't keep iPhone screws on hand, so we have 2 for one side, 1 for another. Now you gotta wonder who did this. Was it somebody at the actual Apple home base? Was this a refurb by an Apple authorized repair center? Was it somebody else? And there goes our speaker. We can just throw it away. We don't have any use for it at this particular time. Just kidding, we'll keep it. It goes there. Now we need to apply heat to the top of the screen. We're gonna swap it. We need to get our sensor out of there. And looking at our new part, again, you can order these. You can order those too. It comes with those cases. We will need heat. You can order these where they don't come with this little plastic housing and the little plastic housing for the whatever sensor goes there, whether it's proximity or ambient light, and they won't have the little piece of adhesive in there. You can get a lot of work for yourself how to break those loose. I have some here from last time I did, where somebody just threw them in there without even sticking them down or anything. They just tossed them in the phone. So let's move it over. We will start. First order of business is, what can we do? I say we move the ribbon cable over, possibly, and then the back piece. Possibly not. Does it attach? That's what I want to know. It does indeed attach under 2 of the screws for the top ribbon cable assembly there. So yeah, we're gonna do that one, then the back plate. Lots of fun to come. Let's heat up this new or old screen and get our assembly off of there. Camera should come out fairly easy. Quit focusing on that red thing. Look at the black thing I'm showing you, not the red one. So we need our sensors out, and then our speaker contacts is what's going to be the trouble. So let's throw some heat on it. And start working on removing it. Oh, it's a broken screen. I see it. I know how that piece of glass got in there. We need it out of the way at least. There it goes. Okay. What else is there? What is it stuck by? That's what I want to know. Is it only under this one piece? Oh wow, yeah, okay, the whole, what do I want to call that? Do we not have that on the new one? Okay, so yeah, the whole thing, we'll have to split it apart once we get this out of here. We got a little warm in the whole speaker grill assembly thing came out, which is fine. We'll work on detaching that now. Alright, it's free. Let's throw that there and put this back on our busted screen. We're going to put the back plate on first, so we need to remove the red thing. And that, and we got to weave, be careful to weave our little ribbon cables through. They will go partially through. And just like the old, or the other iPhone I did, I'm going to take a quick look. Everything appears to, the tape appears to be in the proper places on this one, in the liquid electrical tape. Everything is in the right place to insulate. No actual points where there's going to be like electric going through is showing, so we don't have to move any stickers. At least not that I am aware of right now. Of course, they do have that probe point covered on the old ribbon cable, and that point I'm referring to is this probe point right there is not showing. They do have liquid electrical tape over it, as you can see. If it doesn't, the glare doesn't kill it. We're looking at the same part with just minus the ribbon cables being folded. So that little gold contact point that you can see kind of glinting is actually covered up on this one. So we're going to pull a piece of tape off of the old broken screen and put it over that spot on the new one. basically this contact point right here. Now we're ready. As you can see, it is covered up, no more little gold piece showing. Let's go ahead and weave these through like so, and we'll put in the few remaining screws that we have for this phone assembly. Apple needs to ramp up with a full-scale investigation. Somebody's stealing screws out of iPhone 7 Pluses. Second one in a row I've worked on, or they're just shittily refurbished screens that have went into the phone. Like, why would you not put all the screws back in? That makes no sense. Sorry about that. Do we have any screws that will thread that on this old iPhone 5, or did they change the shank size? I mean, Phillips, they definitely are. Let's screw with somebody's head. We're going to take an old screw and see if it will thread that same spot, or one of the missing spots from an iPhone 5 to an iPhone 7. I'm guessing no, it probably... You know what? It did tighten down. But is there clearance inside? Because the screw sticks through a little bit. Where is that going to be? That one is at the top right by... And that one is at the bottom with not much room to go through. we may have to clean that part off slightly. Like, it doesn't look like a lot, but that is a lot of screws sticking through there. It's holding it though, so we're gonna do that. The other side had at least had something going for it. It had more than one screw. The other side is just the battery. It's fairly open. Perhaps we'll use Phillips screws on the other side. Sure, why not? Oh, look at that. It pushed straight through. That's not cool. Knew something was off. So the head of the screw is way smaller. And it bent our bracket. Let's get this out. We're going to put this screw in this side where it shouldn't go through, hopefully. And this is one of the Y screws. So bend that up just a little, let it catch, and then go for it again. You know what, here's what we're going to do. We're going to work on it down here instead of holding it. I was relying on autofocus. That keeps pulsing like crazy. So we will limit ourselves to working on the little black mat. That way it quits going crazy on everybody's eyes. Alright, this side has one screw in it now. We put the two stock screws in there. Let's see what we can do with this Phillips screw. There's a lot more room over by the battery. Perhaps if we don't press on it, it will thread in nicely and at least hold that spot versus not holding it at all. Alright, that doesn't stick through quite like the other side, and the head's not going to just fall through. Let's grab one more off this old junk iPhone to at least mount them in. Wrong screw? Yes, 100%. However, it's at least going to hold those parts in, not let them get bent or fold out of the way if they tried to do that. Alright, that one's in there. Now we have two screws on that side. These are factory ones. I should write on there with marker that they're plus. Mark it Y, mark them pluses. Not that. Maybe somebody will be working on it again someday, but let's do it. Let's give them a hint. Let them know. Or they can just eternally wonder. Who did this? What's going on here? What's the story? Who put these X's and Y's inside this phone? Who sent them? Well, Apple sent them, dummy. Why are you asking a question like that? You know who sent them. Don't pretend you don't. Alright, bang, bing, bong. Somewhat done. Let's throw our, what are we doing now? Sensor. Sensor array goes in. And then our camera, and then after our camera, we'll sandwich it down with the metal piece. This is always fun. Actually, it's not. I hate this part. Get out of the way, adhesive. I'm calling bullshit, but if that's stuck in there on the first go, I am not arguing about that. Let's slam a speaker in here, put the camera over it, and move the hell on with it. Does that cut enough glare to lighten the camera back up? I have to check this little back plate. So the speaker goes under, not over. There is a gap for it there on the one side. It looks or quite possibly it doesn't. I don't know yet. I haven't determined. Let's hold this down and take a second look, second opinion. Yeah, no, there's no space. This speaker has to sit on top. Only option. What I've found when putting this part back on is if you just set it there and kind of press in a little, there should be no part that's actually flexing. All the screw holes should just about touch. And if that's the case, then you are good to go. If that's not the case, you have something misaligned and it's not how it goes. Let's go for our Phillips screw for the upper right corner and work on that. Or upper right, upper left. So far so good. Our speaker is still lined up. Now we can screw down the 3 that go across the bottom of the whole speaker sensor array. Secure that bracket in place and move on. Chat, you leave me in here all cold in the AC and alone. Nobody says nothing. Just stand in the corners by themselves, watching the screen. Watching the screen. Alright, again, we'll check over all these that we just went ahead and put in. I really need to buy a quality lens for the overhead cam. You can zoom it and you can focus it, but I want something that, like, when you focus and lock it, it's crystal clear compared to this subpar quality of this kit lens, you know? I'm stirring like a milkshake, smoothie, fruit, hybrid, something or other. Stirring it, grabbing a drink. Not from anywhere, it's from home, so. Did completely soak my hand from the condensation on it, so we gotta dry them off before we continue this repair. Alright, let's wrap this up. What do we got? A home button and a couple other. A home button and a couple other things, and it's good to go, right? Alright, last few remaining things. Let's do it. Home button, we're gonna put that in. Much fun. Boy, I would cut that out. I would cut out the plastic that comes on the thing to put the home button in. But there's ribbon cables exposed and showing. And that would just be horrible to chop into one of them. So we're gonna push it out, get our home button in. And then let this fall back down as best it can. Apple, why'd you do it? Why'd you make the home button go through the front of the dang phone? Alright, we have adhesive left on our ribbon cable before we start attaching anything. Remember, we're going to go in here. We have to flip the one up out of the way. It will let the new one fall. Once this is the one we had to flip up, the home button fell down, then we can just fold it back over, clip it, and start reattaching stuff. Alright, we at least got that bit. Let's go for the button assembly. Now what I don't remember, was that an over or an under thing? Over, not under. No way it's under. Over, and these are all our Y Apple screws. What are you doing? One Phillips and the rest Y. Does that really black it out? So far so good, I hope. Let's take a look-see. Pull our phone back over. We need to connect our 3 ribbon cables. Because of the way this one bends and twists in such a weird manner, I'm going to try and get it connected first, as we have more leeway if needing to move the display around to get these ones to connect. Then if I were to connect these two, we don't have much wiggle room to work that one around. So I'm going to go for this one first. Either way, it's always a treat. An iPhone 7 Plus, and either way, for neither time. Is that it? Was it like an angled thing? No, not really. It's all just a nuisance. We did lose a battery again. Well, let me see. I don't know how it happens. It switches off, and I don't know when it switches off, but it does at one point. I think we need to keep it out of my pocket. Look at this. We got this little switch that comes out. I'm taking that as a sign. My batteries are dying. They're dead. The power's fading. I don't know how much of any of this was heard. Yeah, iPhone 7 Plus. What do you want to call it? Screen replacement. We had to move over the small parts. Anyhow, yeah, have a good evening, good morning, good afternoon. If you're into this stuff, fixing it, watching it, share it. Share this, like this, subscribe, come back. We usually fix stuff every day. We don't always get to stream every day, but we do try. Thank you for clicking the link, hanging out, getting your hands dirty, listening to me when I actually had a mic. We almost did something irresponsible and didn't put their case back on. Anyhow, have a good evening and thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.